I'll let you announce our players, or at least start to.
Did you say that because I now have no clue which is which? But no.
Oh, no, I actually had to get my StarCraft back open. That's why, but I'll
It's
do
fine.
it.
No. It's okay. Top right-hand corner as our pink Zerg. He goes by the name of EGStephanoRC.
Yep, and of course to the bottom left, using his old Pro S tag, it is Dongregu, aka DRG. ZVZ here. One of these two players will be going on to the finals in Paris.
So curiously, can read the name?
I can read it.
Okay, so
It just literally says Dongregu Pro S.
Pro S. Oh, okay, cool. Your Korean's pretty damn good then.
Yeah,
Oh,
my Korean is pretty good. I don't know, I haven't met someone in esports in Korea yet who has my level of Korean. I actually what I like to do though is I have learned so much Korean, and I try to learn like a little bit every day, even though my grammar is pretty much perfect. I'm trying to learn a lot of vocabulary. Really like to help other casters, other people who come out here learn Korean as well. It's one thing. It's like I guess a hobby of mine, because I think it's important if you're going to live in Korea to speak the language. Because unlike Europe, if you don't speak the language here, sometimes it actually can be difficult to get around and do things.
yeah. That's the advantage I have in Germany. I don't know much German, but because I know English and because everyone here wants to practice their English as well, it's quite useful. So, yeah, it's all right. Anyway, ZVZ. We've had a few already, but we are in with Stephano and DRG now. As for now, Stephano will go for his hatchery after spawning pool. Meanwhile, back at home for DRG, he already went hatchery before spawning pool, so just chilling out here. DRG have a small incremental advantage, but it gets evened up once the queens come out.
Yeah, Queen's coming out, and I wonder what builds we're going to see, man. It's down to the wire. It's our final best of 5. And I think a lot of people, especially French fans, tuning in right now, biting their fingernails, wondering if Stephano is going to be able to take this.
Yeah, it's a dilemma because, again, DRG is so good in this matchup. Will Stephano be able to go up against DRG? Stephano comes in, sees the spawning pool timing, sees the gas timing as well. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He needs to throw his guys into gas. He doesn't want to fall behind in terms of that speed window. And for now, he will be around 30 seconds or so behind. So that could be an advantage here for DRG.
Yep, could be indeed. Now, the hatchery coming down a little bit faster for DRG has that better saturation, slightly faster. But it kind of evens out with the pool first with Stephano because he's going to have the queens out, so he'll have the better larva injects faster to catch up. So in ZVZ, with these two builds collide, basically neither player gets a real advantage because of the way the larva mechanic works. That's why I really like sometimes the early game, because the choices you make are all just really relatively fair to each other. I don't know how to explain exactly what I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, if you take gas, you're not going to be able to punish your opponent necessarily for it, and he's not going to be able to do the same to you. It's just a really fair early game for this matchup. No massive risks that go down unless you have an early pool.
It's true. It is true. I mean, really isn't much you can do unless, of course, you decide to commit all of your larva to just exclusively zergling production, hide it, and then try and just go from there. But
Yeah.
it's so all in, or doing catastrophic damage to your opponent that you have to even things up. That it's a massive risk.
It's so different than, for example, I just want to use another example so I can make it more clear what I mean. In the matchup Protoss versus Terran, if you have one player go Nexus first and the other player doesn't scout early, then he went for a 1 barracks into CC, and he actually finds himself slightly behind no matter what. But in this matchup, if you go hatch first versus someone who goes for pool first and then gas, like, you're pretty much even with them because of that larva mechanic. It's really cool.
No, it's exactly right. It is a cool mechanic. as it allows the early game to be less punishing on someone, which is pretty nice. And for now, well, both players are actually going for a relatively quick layer here. Stephano's more so, and only 3 gas guys is going for the Roach Warren as well. Looks like we'll be just seeing him go for Gliori Constitution pretty fast. He could, in theory, go for an extremely aggressive stance here with the Gliori Constitution, but I'm under the impression, well, he could even time it out with the +1 weapons as well. But I think he'll probably want to go into a more of a mid-game focus with Infestors.
Yeah, I think you're right. We'll see what he wants to do. It's going to become clear in just a moment. Right now, he's making a lot of lings just to be safe, going up to 18. That puts him a little bit behind in workers, but not too significantly. And he goes right for the Infestors. The question now becomes, what is DRG going to do, since DRG is without a... he's actually without a Roach Warren. I think we're just going to see him drop the Infestation Pit. He's got the +1 Carapace.
And there's a little bit of a dance going around in the middle of the map here. Baneling connects with actually quite a lot of lings there. But
yeah,
he will now be able to push DRG back just for a little moment whilst he rallies way more lings to the front, and he's going for an Infestation Pit as well. Interestingly, DRG, no Roach Warrant just yet, but he's going to throw one down in just a second. And Baneling's now on the way to try and punish Stephano's third, which he does not want him to get up that quickly.
And the +1 Carapace that DRG has on his lings make it so much easier for him to put pressure on third bases like this, because not only does he survive a little extra Baneling hits, but he can also just fight ling against ling, and when the roaches come out, it's not going to be a 2-shot with the roaches have +1, so this is a pretty cool strategy by DRG. He's going to go for some aggression here up at the front.
And looks like he will be able to wiggle around just for a little second. One Baneling maze to sit its way, and it's not really too easy to do so much damage with one Baneling, but the Zerglings trying to find a little bit of damage where they can. Stephano holding on pretty well here. Only lost 2 workers in the total of this. One Baneling still trying to dance around. DRG's doing a good job with these lings, considering how long he's been in there for.
Yep, he certainly does. The Queen finally cleans things up. And the Infestation Pit going to work for both players now on that research of the pathogen glands. He wants to be able to get the Infestors out as soon as possible to start to, just be great support units. Big problem for Stephano is he still hasn't been able to secure his third base. On the other hand, DRG has his third hatchery now finishing up, and Stephano is going to have to do something about this eventually.
Yeah, that was great delay tactics there by DRG, just poking into his main, really drawing his focus whilst he denied the third. And, from there, he's gaining himself so much momentum in the form of getting those Infestors out with the pathogen glands. I mean, admittedly, Stephano has them as well, but, DRG is going to have that 5th and 6th gas guys are up a little quicker than his opponent. And I have to come back to something you mentioned about the Carapace upgrade that DRG implemented to begin with. It's actually such a big defining factor in this matchup. I'm surprised more people don't just go Carapace straight away. It's so strong.
Yeah, it really is. It's a little bit more expensive, and it's not as good for your roaches. These queens get trapped. There's a good fungal on the lings, and he saves them. But you're right. It's so useful overall, especially going into the late game. It's better to have, in a roach versus roach fight, the attack upgrade.
Yeah.
But when it comes to lings and denying hatcheries, it's really, really great to have that Carapace. And I'm a little bit surprised that this build hasn't really caught on as becoming a little bit more standard right now. It's just kind of a special build that you see players do. The only 2 players I've ever seen do it are DRG and Lenok. Maybe Life has done it once or twice, but it's not really his style.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a bit in the European scene, but it's been for very high octane aggression with Ling Bane, and and knowing that your opponent has a very similar style, and just trying to metagame it out of people, whereas you make yourself so much more resilient. So it's it happens, but you're right, it's not too common.
Yeah, becoming more common though for sure. +2 finishing up for both players for roaches, a slight advantage to Stephano. But even if he wants to try to use it, the Carapace is going to negate that. But if you think about it that way, ooh, nice little Infestor catch here by DRG. But if you think about the upgrade advantage, it's going to be really, really tough for him to fight against 2-1 versus 2-0 when that happens. So it's going to be an advantage that goes to actually DRG.
It's a big deal. It is. Stephano did get pneumatized carapace, so now he can actually see exactly what's going on with these very speedy overlords, and he's trying to claim himself a fourth, but no siree. DRG is not having any of that. Pushing forwards with his roaches and infestors now. He has a lot of energy accrued here. Nice fungal to start things off, and actually, well, his infestors get caught by quite a few fungal, so they could go down pretty rapidly. Nice engagement with the roaches as well on that concave. Admittedly better than Stephano's here, as he
And DRG, he had a lot of energy on those infestors, but he waited until the last second to use it. You want to make sure you got the best engagement possible. Unfortunately for him, Stephano does clean up for now. He's got a really good wave of reinforcements. Can he get this hatchery down? He wants to. He wants to force the fight here, and now I think DRG has too much. Stephano's going to have to cancel. Oh, and no cancel on the hatch.
Yeah, it's going to be a big blow. 300 minerals or 270 at this point is pretty annoying as he still pushes forwards here, trying to do the damage he can do. Stephano is on the ropes. He doesn't have that many roaches left over. He's bringing in a few from the back. This is a good flanking tactic, and we'll be able to push him back for now. There's not much energy left on the infestors, but still, that carapace holding its own. And you know, the more Hydralisks actually come out here, the more effective that carapace will be here for DRG.
Exactly, and DRG continuing to move forward. He gets rallied back for just a moment. He wants to wait for that infested Terran energy to come up back on those infestors. And DRG's always been one step ahead as far as bases go. He starts mining gas down the middle of the map. For most of the time that base has been alive, it's been just an extra macro hatchery, really. But it's worked out. DRG, with an overwhelming amount of units here, has a massive lead against Stephano. Stephano's going to have to use really good fungals and take perfect engagements in order to get back inside this game.
Yeah, DRG just taking full command. And, well, tries to sneak a base up to the north, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Cancels that, but the drone does end up being eviscerated. And from here on, just Hydras into Hydras. And again, this is why Stephano is now getting the carapace. He needs, well, not only because he can't get any more attack upgrades, but also it's so good against Hydralisks if you can eke those out. And DRG, he had the advantage to begin with.
That he did. But now it's going to be evened up, and both players' armies are relatively similar in size. The problem, of course, for Stephano is that there is a much better bank for DRG right now, and then once the fight is over, DRG is going to remax a little bit faster. He has the better gas, and here comes the engagement. A really good concave, though, for DRG, and Stephano struggling to make this work.
Oh, wow. DRG just completely overwhelming this. The Hydras have been left completely open, and there you go. GG, guys. For game number 1, DRG, very, very impressive here in this first EVZ.